What if comfort is the enemy? What if the very thing you crave most, comfort, is silently killing your edge? What if that soft couch, the warm bed, the easy routine, is quietly stealing your strength? The Stoics believe that a man grows soft long before life becomes hard. And that's why they train themselves daily, not for glory, not for show, but to remain unbreakable when chaos comes knocking. Epictetus once said, "Run races where winning is up to you." He wasn't talking about stadiums or medals. He meant the silent battles, the one against your own laziness, your own doubts, your own craving for comfort. That's the race, the only one that matters, the race you run each day when no one's watching. In this video, you'll discover 13 quiet yet powerful ways Stoics challenge themselves every single day, not to impress the world, but to stay ready for it, because the world doesn't wait, and it definitely doesn't care how cozy you feel. Stay with me until the end, because principle number 4 might completely change how you start your morning tomorrow. And principle number 11, it will teach you how to see light, even in the darkest night. 1. Wake up early, not because you like it, but because you must. No one likes waking up early. Not Marcus Aurelius. Not modern creators. Not even the man writing this. But the Stoics didn't wake up early because it felt good. They did it because it was right. In Meditations, Marcus writes about that familiar internal battle. It's warm under the covers. And then he answers himself with brutal clarity. Is that what you were put here to do? To huddle under blankets and stay warm? That question slices through all excuses. You weren't made for comfort. You were made for purpose. There's a hidden wisdom in those early hours, the stillness before the world wakes, before your phone hijacks your attention, before the noise of life creeps in. That's the window. That's the moment to do the thing that matters most. Not the easy thing, the hard thing. William Stafford, the poet, once wrote, "Do the hard thing first." Edison echoed that idea. Pick up the heavy end first. Why? Because if you wait, life will hand you 100 reasons not to do it. And by then, your will has weakened. Ryan Holiday begins each morning with writing. Not emails, not meetings, writing. Because if he doesn't, it won't get done. The day will consume him. When you do the hardest thing first, you've already won. Whether the rest of the day is chaos or calm, it doesn't matter. You've already faced down resistance and chosen growth. Still think getting out of bed early is just about productivity? Think again. In the next part, we'll uncover the Stoic mindset that teaches you to stop complaining, even inside your own head. It's more powerful than you think. 2. Don't complain, not even to yourself. There's a kind of poison that spreads without a sound. It begins in your thoughts, seeps into your words, and before long, it defines your life. It's called complaining. Marcus Aurelius warned against it, not just in public, but in the most private space of all, your own mind. Don't be overheard complaining, not even to yourself, he wrote. Why? Because complaints don't change anything. They masquerade as reflection, but they're really just resignation. They keep you stuck, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Stoics didn't suppress emotions. They simply refused to worship them. When life gets hard, and it will, the question isn't why me? It's what will I do now? That's the fork in the road. One direction leads to bitterness, the other to growth. Ryan Holiday puts it simply, action is not the same as emotion. Protesting injustice is noble, but whining about your inbox or the traffic or how cold it is outside, that's noise, and noise distracts you from doing the real work. That's why his morning routine avoids the phone for the first hour, not because phones are evil, but because they tempt you into a reactive mindset, into other people's problems, into complaint disguised as urgency. Instead, he steps outside. He watches the sunrise. He looks at his donkey buddy, yes, a literal donkey, And in that stillness, he asks himself, who do I want to be today? Not what do I have to do, but who do I choose to become? That's the power of discipline. That's what complaining blocks. Most people don't even realize they've built a life around micro-complaints. But the Stoics, they trained their bodies and minds to obey purpose, not comfort. That's exactly where we're headed next. 3. Train the body to obey the mind. The body is a servant, the mind a master. But if the servant grows fat, lazy, and willful, the master loses control. And when life throws chaos your way, as it always does, you crumble. You panic. You quit. That's why the Stoics trained. Not to look good, not to impress, but to rule themselves. Seneca said it best. We treat the body rigorously so that it is not disobedient to the mind. For Ryan Holiday, that discipline shows up in a daily run. Not because he's training for a race. He's training for life. Running when it's cold. Running when it's hot. Running when he's tired. That's the practice. That's the point. He's not running for speed. He's running through resistance, physical and mental. You don't build mental toughness by reading quotes or watching videos. You build it in the sweat, in the repetition, in those quiet, lonely moments where you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. That's the muscle Stoics strengthen every day. The ability to choose what's right over what's easy. Because when the real tests come, loss, betrayal, fear, you'll need more than motivation. You'll need discipline that's lived in your bones. And if your body flinches at discomfort, your spirit will follow. But physical toughness is only part of the equation. In the next section, we'll uncover the Stoic tactic that sharpens focus and simplifies life by turning every no into a powerful yes. 4. Say no to say yes, the power of elimination. Every yes you give away is a no to something else. Say yes to the meeting, you say no to your deep work. Say yes to the party, you say no to sleep. Say yes to every email, every notification, every just one quick thing. You say no to your soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you seek tranquility, do less. But not just any kind of less. Do only what is essential. Strip away the non-essentials, and what's left is not emptiness, but clarity. This isn't minimalism for aesthetics. It's strategic elimination. Stoic subtraction. Ryan Holiday lives by this in every area, from the structure of his day to how he runs his business. He says no often, and not out of selfishness, but precision. Because when you say no to the inessential, you're not just freeing up time. You're reclaiming yourself. And here's the real Stoic twist. Every no is also a yes. Say no to comparison. Yes to confidence. No to distraction. Yes to depth. No to pleasing everyone. Yes to honoring your path. It's a double victory. You lighten your load and you sharpen your focus. Most people drown in a sea of half-hearted yes. But Stoics? They swim only where the current of purpose flows. And in the next principle, we dive into one of their most powerful daily rituals, one that literally jolts the body and clears the mind. 5. Embrace discomfort, the cold plunge principle. Your mind doesn't like discomfort. It will make excuses. It will negotiate. It will plead for 5 more minutes, a little less cold, a little more comfort. But Stoics knew this simple truth. The more comfort you chase, the weaker you become. That's why Ryan Holiday starts his day by stepping into something most people avoid like a plague, an ice-cold plunge. It's not trendy. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. But that's exactly the point. Marcus Aurelius once wrote about washing off the dust of earthly life. The Romans used cold baths as both hygiene and ritual, a way to shock the system awake, to shed the fog of comfort. Today, science backs it. Cold plunges activate focus, reduce inflammation, and harden the will. But for the Stoics, the value goes deeper. It's about training your response. When you sit in freezing water, your instinct screams, "Get out!" But you breathe. You stay. You master the impulse. And what happens? You carry that mastery into the rest of your day. You speak calmly when provoked. You stay present when others panic. You act with intention, not reaction. It's not about ice. It's about edge. Because if you can't sit in cold water for 2 minutes, how will you hold your ground in real adversity? Physical challenge is one thing, but the emotional battlefield? That's where the Stoics truly shine. Up next, how to prepare for the hardest part of life, other people. 6. Expect people to be difficult, but don't abandon them. The Stoics never promised the world would be kind. In fact, Marcus Aurelius began one of his most famous meditations with a brutal forecast. Today you will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Sounds harsh? That's the point. It's a mental rehearsal. It's a preemptive strike against disillusionment. Because if you expect everyone to be wise, kind, and emotionally mature, you'll suffer constant disappointment. But if you walk into the day prepared, you stay unshaken. And here's the beautiful twist Marcus adds, one that many miss. They do not know good from evil. I cannot be harmed by them. We are made to work together. He doesn't use this forecast to justify cynicism. He uses it to anchor compassion. Yes, people will be rude. Yes, they will misunderstand you. Yes, they will let ego lead. But you don't abandon the mission. Stoicism isn't about isolation. It's about insulation, staying connected without being corrupted. Ryan Holiday reminds us, other people are part of your training. Your response to them is the real test. Not their mood, not their behavior, yours. The goal is not to escape the chaos of humanity, but to stay principled within it. The world tests your patience through people. But your greatest adversary? It's still within. In the next principle, we explore the Stoic art of flipping obstacles into opportunities, even when everything seems lost. 7. Flip the obstacle. Turn the worst into the best. What if the thing you fear most is the very thing that could set you free? That's not a feel-good mantra. That's a Stoic law of nature. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. The greatest breakthroughs often hide inside the breakdowns, but only if you're willing to flip the script. Ryan Holiday tells the story of Mark Ecko, the fashion entrepreneur who hit a financial wall. Months before the biggest industry trade show, his company ran out of money. The event was their lifeline, their reputation, their shot. No budget, no booth, just panic. But instead of giving up, they leaned in. They printed flyers across the convention. Where's Echo? Their booth? Empty. Just a chair and a sign. People were confused, then curious, then obsessed. The non-booth became the most talked about feature of the entire event. They turned absence into presence, scarcity into signal, failure into fuel. That's the Stoic move. Use the obstacle. Don't resist it, reframe it. Ask, what's the hidden opportunity in this mess? What would most people not do here? How can I turn this into a story worth telling? Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Pain isn't the end. It's the process. But not all enemies are external. Next up, the one thing that can quietly destroy all growth, even if your actions are right. Let's talk about ego. 8. Crush ego. Learn what you don't know. Ego whispers the most dangerous lie you'll ever hear. You already know. And the moment you believe that, growth dies. Epictetus said, "It is impossible to learn that which you think you already know." And that's why ego isn't just annoying, it's lethal. Ego is the silent killer of improvement. It doesn't scream or slam doors. It just nods smugly while your potential quietly rots. Stoics practiced humility not as a virtue, but as a weapon. Socrates, one of their heroes, claimed to know only one thing, that he knew nothing. That admission made him the wisest man in Athens. When you embrace what you don't know, you become teachable, flexible, evolving. But ego, it makes you brittle. It resists feedback. It demands recognition. It turns every correction into an insult. Ryan Holiday warns, ego doesn't just hurt relationships, it limits your access to truth, to mentors, to wisdom, to reality. You can fake discipline, you can fake kindness, but you can't fake humility, because the moment you think you're humble, you're not. The Stoic challenge is this: kill your need to be right. Replace pride with curiosity. Seek what's real, not what flatters. Because when you let go of ego, you don't lose power, you gain freedom. You're doing the right thing. You're growing. But are you expecting the world to notice? In the next section, we'll confront a subtle trap, doing good with strings attached. 9. Do good without needing the third thing. You did the right thing, but no one noticed. No applause. No thank you. No viral post. Nothing. And now, you're wondering if it was worth it. Marcus Aurelius had a name for this hidden desire. The third thing. Doing good is the first thing. Knowing it was right, that's the second. But the third? Being recognized for it. And that, the Stoics warned, is where many lose their way. In Meditations, Marcus reminds himself, you've already been paid. You did what was just. That's enough. The applause is extra. The credit? A nice to have, but never the reason. Why? Because if your goodness depends on reward, it's not goodness, it's a transaction. Ryan Holiday talks often about this trap. We crave validation. We want the thank you card, the bestseller badge, the public praise. But when that becomes the fuel, the fire dims. You burn out. You feel unseen. And worse, you start adjusting your actions to get approval instead of doing what's right. The Stoic flips that virtue is the reward. The act is the payment. You hold the door because it's right. You give generously without Instagramming it. You show up even when no one's watching. That's how you build a life of deep integrity, not temporary recognition. Stoics don't just prepare for disappointment, they train to be unshaken by it. Next up, we'll uncover the mental exercise that hardens you against fate itself. It's called Premeditatio, and it might just change how you face every bad day. 10. Premeditatio. Rehearse the worst to withstand it. Most people are blindsided by misfortune. They say, I never saw it coming. But the Stoic, he saw it coming, and he trained for it. Seneca wrote, the unexpected blow lands heaviest. So what's the solution? Premeditatio malorum. Literally, the premeditation of evils. It's the ancient Stoic exercise of imagining everything that could go wrong before it does. Not to dwell in fear, but to walk through fire in your mind so it doesn't consume you in reality. Your flight gets canceled, your project fails, your relationship ends. A Stoic sees it, feels it, faces it before it's real. Ryan Holiday practices this regularly. Before a speech, a launch, a life decision, he rehearses setbacks, delays, criticism, chaos. That way, if they come, he's not rattled. If they don't, he's grateful. This is mental weightlifting. You're not attracting bad things. You're fortifying your spirit. Think of a firefighter. They don't wait for the fire to learn how to act. They train in the absence of flames. So should you. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be unfeeling. It asks you to be unbreakable. And that starts with seeing the storm before it hits and still walking forward. But what if the storm is only in your mind? In the next lesson, we'll explore how changing your perspective can transform your entire experience, even when nothing else changes. 11. Change the lens, choose a stronger perspective. Same event. Two people, two radically different reactions. One curses the traffic. The other sees a city alive. One panics in the rain. The other smiles, an adventure. It's not the world that changes. It's the lens through which you see it. Epictetus said, "Every situation has two handles. One will bear weight, the other won't." Which one are you holding? Perspective isn't passive, it's power. The Stoics understood that how you interpret a moment determines your experience of it. Ryan Holiday shares a perfect example. He's traveling with his family. Delays, bad weather, plans ruined. The old response? Frustration. The Stoic response? This is the trip, not the itinerary, not the picture-perfect day. But this, messy, delayed, unpredictable, is the real journey. And once you accept that, something shifts. Stress fades, humor returns, gratitude reappears. It's not spiritual bypassing, it's psychological mastery. You still feel the emotion, but you don't feed it. You still see the problem, but you don't become it. This is why Stoicism is not pessimistic, it's pragmatic. It trains you to see the full picture, the good, the bad, the hidden opportunity. And when you change your perspective, you don't just cope better, you live deeper. That's the Stoic secret. Your power lies in perception. In the final lesson, we return to the heart of the practice, consistency, humility, and showing up every single day. 12. Show up daily. Let the work be its own reward. In the end, it's not the breakthrough that defines you. It's the rhythm, the quiet click of keys before sunrise, the daily run no one applauds, the hard choice repeated for the 1,000th time. Ryan Holiday began the Daily Stoic as a one-year project, 366 meditations. But he didn't stop. He kept writing every single day. For nearly a decade, rain or shine, sick or well, audience or not. Why? Because for a Stoic, the value is in the doing. The act itself is sacred. Don't go expecting the third thing, Marcus Aurelius warned. You showed up. You gave your best. You lived in alignment with your principles. That is the reward. You don't need a plaque. You don't need applause. You don't need the world to notice. You need only one thing, to know you live today well. In the Stoic view, life isn't measured in outcomes, it's measured in presence, in effort, in returning to the practice, even when it's thankless, even when it's boring, even when it's invisible. You want greatness? Forget grand moments. Build quiet consistency, because in the end, that's the only thing that ever changed anything. So now you've seen how Stoics challenge themselves, not once, but every single day. Not with noise, but with depth. Not with force, but with mastery. Now comes the only question that matters. Which of these challenges will you take on tomorrow? Let's explore what it truly means when Stoicism moves beyond theory and becomes bold, decisive action. Because this 13th principle isn't just reflective, it's a call to rise, to respond, to lead in today's chaotic world. 13. Take Stoicism into the world. Make it active, make it fierce. You've mastered the morning. You've trained your body. You've wrestled ego, said no, kept perspective, done the right thing in silence. But now what? Now you bring it to the world. Stoicism was never meant to be a monk's retreat. It was built for battlefields, for courts, for markets on fire. It's for the senator under siege, the soldier on the brink, the parent raising a child in a collapsing society. Today, our battlefields look different. Social unrest, economic storms, digital addiction, culture wars, climate threats, you name it. The world is shaking. And in that storm, what we don't need is more outrage. What we don't need is more noise, more division, more performance. We need quiet strength, Stoic strength, fierce, rational, rooted in virtue strength. This is the 13th principle. Use everything you've built inside to move something outside. You've trained your mind? Then speak with clarity in a world of confusion. You've mastered your temper? Then be the still voice in the room when anger rises. You've detached from ego? Then led not for power, but for people. You've practiced perspective? Then help others see when all they feel is fear. You've embraced discomfort? Then step into the uncomfortable conversations no one else will have. The Stoic doesn't flinch when the world burns. The Stoic walks through it, not untouched, but unchanged in principle. Your inner fortress was never meant to hide in. It was built to carry you into the fire and to carry others out. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a platform to change things. You just need the courage to apply Stoicism where it actually counts. The battlefield is now. The race is today. Run it hard. Run it true. Run it with fire. Stoicism is not about feeling less. It's about standing stronger. It's not about retreating from the world. It's about walking into it ready. Because the world won't slow down. The noise won't stop. The chaos won't pause to let you breathe. But you can become still within the storm. You can become clear within the noise. You can become useful where others freeze. The 13 ways you've just learned aren't rules. They're reminders. They're ancient tools for a modern war. And now they're yours. So take them, live them, share them. And if this message stirred something in you, don't keep it quiet. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell us, which challenge will you take on tomorrow? And if you're walking this Stoic path, subscribe now. Because this isn't just a channel. It's a movement. It's a brotherhood, a sisterhood of those who choose reason over rage, purpose over comfort, and virtue over noise. You're not alone. You never were.